Hello and good afternoon, Sports Talk Live, sports fans. Today is Wednesday, March 24th, 2021, and today I'll be discussing more on the NFL free agency. Now, if you all are wondering, why I'm continuing my free agency news segment, is because free agency is still upon us, and we are still in a free agency period up until April when the NFL draft starts back up again. Also, this coming Friday, I will have a special guest join me for her podcast. And I will also have Shelby and Yanni back with me this Friday as well to discuss the Fastlane results and the winners and losers of Fastlane. So make sure you don't forget to check us out this Friday on Sports Talk Live. Also, I want to thank my special guest who joined me this evening, Miss Kimberly Jones, student leader at Montgomery College, Student Life Activities Director. And, she was, you know, um, she was so great to come on my show and talk to me a little bit about what she does here at Student Life. So, free agency is still upon us, and we got some big moves that we can discuss, some big brand names going to different teams. And, we're going to start with Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is the new Washington football team player. Now, Ryan Fitzpatrick, the guy's been around for years, and you gotta at some point say, hmm, well, Washington got rid of Alex Smith, so they picked up another veteran quarterback. Well, that's true. So let's take a look and see how this transaction happened. So the Washington football team was expected to add a veteran quarterback this offseason, with the team armed with the 19th pick in the draft and no guarantee that one of the top five passers in the class would be available. They needed to have some sort of stopgap available to compete with Kyle Allen and Taylor Heineke. Now they have exactly that. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Washington football team reached a deal with Ryan Fitzpatrick. The 39-year-old will make up to $12 million on a one-year contract. Obviously, it's noteworthy that Schefter pointed out that Fitzpatrick is the starter, but that his main competition is Taylor Heineke. That means the team does hold Heineke in high regard after his performance last year. The sample size was too small not to bring in some potential, though, but they will give the young quarterback a chance to compete. He can serve as needed stopgap for the team, and he won't break the bank. Now, he doesn't have a lot of upside at this point in his career, but he could be a capable starter as he has proven over the course of his NFL journey. He'll add a reliable veteran and mentor to the quarterback room as well. There's no downsides to this deal since it's only a one-year pact. But if Fitzpatrick struggles in 2021, Washington can just move on from him during the offseason. But he's a great insurance policy and should end up being the starter unless one of the team's young quarterbacks steps up into a bigger role this offseason. So Fitzpatrick's presence also won't necessarily prevent Washington from drafting a quarterback. If a player that they like is available, what does it mean is that the team won't have to feel pressure to add a player early. They can take the best player available approach that Ron Rivera and Matt Hurney have liked to run over the years. So that will give them a chance to land a high impact player in round one, provided the top quarterback isn't on the board. No matter how you look at it, signing Fitzpatrick is a solid move. It's not a long term solution to the team's quarterback problems, but at least it gives them another potential starting option for 2021. And with little experience in the quarterback room after the release of Alex Smith, that was something the team sorely needed. So yeah, I mean, with the signing of Ryan Fitzpatrick, the guy he's a journeyman. He's 39 years old. I mean, so he's up the upper echelon with Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, all those quarterbacks that have played or are still playing today. Drew Brees and Philip Rivers just retired. Peyton and Eli have been retired. So Ryan Fitzpatrick is one of those quarterbacks who is still up on the up and up, just like Tom Brady. Even though Tom Brady signed a 2-year deal with Tampa Bay, he's still doing his thing in Tampa Bay. But Ryan Fitzpatrick's deal is very similar to what we were expecting for the Washington football team to do once they lost Alex Smith, because Alex Smith was a upper echelon quarterback who just believed in helping the team win. In 2018, we went 6-2 before Alex Smith went down with the almost a career-ending knee injury. The guy had 18 knee surgeries. He was the comeback player of the year award winner at NFL Honors. So, you got to think about how many teams were looking at Ryan Fitzpatrick this offseason, how Washington picked up his contract with the Miami Dolphins. Could have actually re-signed Ryan Fitzpatrick if they wanted to, but they decided to let him go, let his contract go, and they decided to let another team pick him up. And now we got him on a 1-year deal. We'll see how good Ryan Fitzpatrick can be. I mean, he started his career with the Texans. He played with the Texans, the Titans, the Jets, the Bucks, the Bills, the Dolphins. He spent a couple of time overseas playing, and he's just been around. He's been that mentor for different teams. He also played with the Cincinnati Bengals in his career. So, he's been around. He's mentored a lot of young players. I'm thinking he even mentored Carson Wentz and Matt Schaub, and he mentored Jameis Winston, and he even mentored Tua Tagovailoa last year in Miami. So, he's mentored some people. He's even mentored Sam Darnold, the Jets. So he's mentored a lot of people that he's come in contact with, and that's a really good sign to see that Ryan Fitzpatrick can come in here and mentor a Taylor Heineke or Kyle Allen or just a big rookie quarterback. Trey Lance is solely on Washington's radar to pick up, but if they don't pick up Trey Lance, they can pick up another body, another wide receiver or defensive end or another route or another quarterback that they need. So for sure. So I wish Ryan Fitzpatrick all the best, and I can't wait to see him in a Washington uniform. So coming up to my next topic here. So the Washington football team announced Wednesday that it has re-signed kicker Dustin Hopkins. That was last Wednesday. Full terms of the deal were not disclosed. Hopkins, who is 6'2", 205 pounds, was originally selected by the Buffalo Bills in the 6th round, number 177 overall of the 2013 NFL Draft. Hopkins has kicked in 87 regular season games, converting 151 of 180 field goal attempts, 83.9%, and 169 of 178 PATs. He has a 94.9% kicker rating. So Hopkins currently ranks number 3 in franchise history in field goals made, 151 and .622. In 2020, Hopkins converted 27 of 34 field goals, 79.4%, alongside 30 of 32 PATs for 93.8% and 111 points. His 27 made field goals as his second most in a single season in his career. This season, Hopkins passed Mark Moseley 12 of the most field goals from 50-plus yards in franchise history with only 13. He also holds the highest field goal percentage mark in franchise history with 83.9%. Hopkins played collegiately at Florida State, where he set a new NCAA career scoring record for kickers, 466 points. Wow, that is a record. During his storied 4-year career, during his time with the Seminoles, he established new NCAA, ACC, and Florida State records with 88 field goals. Hopkins 30 attended Clark Lake High School in Houston, where he was a 2-time Texas 5A All-State selection and USA Today first-team All-American as a senior. He was born October 1st, 1990, 3 years before me. So Dustin Hopkins is one of those kickers that you don't know what you're going to get from him year after year in and year out. So you got to make sure that he's doing the right thing to make sure that he gets his legs up under him. Now, he has had a history of injuries, and he was drafted by the Buffalo Bills in 2013 NFL Draft, but his rights were traded to us, which at that time he was still the Washington Redskins. But he's been good. I mean, Dustin Hopkins he's made some really good kicks in franchise history. I remember going back to that playoff game against the Seattle Seahawks and against the Green Bay Packers when he made some field goals. Even though we didn't win the game, we still played great football. And it just kind of makes this feel like Washington is trying to keep everybody intact over that season because of the good job that they did. But going 7-9 is not really a good job. Now, 7-9 to get you probably in the playoffs with the new format that they've gotten this year, they've established where extra teams can make playoffs. But this is the NBA. The NBA, you can get seeds 1 through 10 in the playoffs. In the NFL, you're going to get 8 seeded teams. So you think about what this team needs, and what the finances of this team and the front office with Dan Snyder, Bonehead Dan Snyder. I can't stand the guy, but he's still the owner, and People have to respect his wishes and respect what he's doing right. And the fact is, it's not really coming why he thought that, re-signing Dustin Hopkins would be a good thing, like not getting a field goal kicker in college or in free agency even, but he has faith. This team has faith in Dustin Hopkins. I have faith in Dustin Hopkins, but sometimes, you know, you got to say, okay, Dustin Hopkins, he's made 151 of 180 field goal attempts. That's pretty good. That's pretty decent in the NFL. But an 83.9% rating, that's pretty high. That's pretty high up there too. And 93.8% is pretty up there. 111 points, that's pretty high as well. But you gotta do higher. You gotta go higher for your field goals. Now Cody Parkey from the Browns, we could have even got him. Could have gotten the field goal kicker from the Bucks, Ryan Suckup. If he had been a free agent, we could have got anybody. But Washington decided to bring back Dustin Hopkins on a one-year deal. So we'll see how all that shapes up for Washington going forward. So my next topic is I want to say congratulations to my guy, my friend who I love seeing watch and play in his years in New Orleans and San Diego. He is now retired after 20 seasons. And yes, I am talking about Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl champion, Drew Brees. Let's look at this story. So, undersized and overlooked at the onset of what would become a hugely successful career, Drew Brees was a statistical giant whose right arm and extraordinary talents transformed New Orleans Saints into a winner. Pinpoint in his accuracy, quick in his release, and sensational across 20 autumns of NFL play. Brees officially announced his retirement last Sunday, beginning the countdown to his arrival in camp. The announcement was a family affair that came via social media and following a lengthy wait after the end of the Saints season. It's a decision many believe was coming, though that hardly lessens the gravity of it all. As one of the all-time greatest quarterbacks has concluded his career, his name etched across record books and his impact on the Saints franchise forever entrenched. Left behind by Brees are 13 trips to the Pro Bowl, 2 AP Offensive Player of the Year accolades, a 2006 with the Peyton Man of the Year honor, an NFL record 80,358 passing yards, 571 touchdown passes, and a 67.7 completion percentage that accumulated the accuracy that was his trademark. And of course, he leaves New Orleans a 2009 season to cherish until the sun grows cold, having marched the Saints to their only Super Bowl and coming away with the victory and Super Bowl MVP. So here are some words from his former head coach, Sean Payton. So when I was hired by the Saints as head coach in 2006, the very first goal was to establish a functional and winning culture. Saints head coach Sean Payton said in a statement, in doing so, it was vital to know that we were looking for in a player, talent, work ethic, makeup, intelligence, and leadership are all qualities we found in Drew Brees. We also found a player with a burning desire to win. Within a year, he helped lead our team to the club's first NFC Championship appearance. The 40-year-old Brees' 20-season career began with the Chargers, who drafted him with the first pick of the second round in the 2001 NFL Draft. A record setter at Purdue, Brees' 6-foot frame question surrounding his arm strength and his ability to successfully transition from the Boilermakers spread offense to the NFL saw him drop from the first round. He played 5 seasons with the Bolts, leaving after the Chargers applied the franchise tag on him in 2005 and planned to move forward with 2004 first-round draft pick Philip Rivers, who, it turns out, retired after the same season as Brees. Saints thanked Drew Brees on Twitter following the retirement announcement in 2006. Brees signed a 6-year deal with the Saints and forever changed professional sports in Louisiana. Brees' final game would stand as a loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC divisional round, falling against longtime contemporary Tom Brady. It was a dismal performance marked by 3 interceptions and 38.1 passer rating that were each career low in the postseason for Brees. It was hardly a fitting end for such a phenomenal career, but Brees betted his time before announcing his retirement, and that final subpar showing is already being lost amid the pomp and circumstance that rightfully accompanied the conclusion of such a heralded career. Of all the sensational statistics that Brees' career holds, perhaps the most significant historically is that which shows just how cosmetically he altered the state of the Saints franchise. After his arrival in New Orleans in 2006, Brees captained the Saints to 9 winning seasons, rescuing a franchise that had just 7 winning campaigns in Team Chronicle prior to the quarterback arriving, a span that covered 1967 to 2005. In all those seasons, the Saints mustered just 5 postseason berths, while Brees' Saints went to the playoffs 9 times in his 15 seasons. It was an instant turn of fortune for the fleur-de-lis-clad franchise. In Brees' first season with the Saints, New Orleans broke a 5-year playoff drought, earned just his second postseason win in franchise history, and advanced to the NFC Championship game for the first time. It came a year after Hurricane Katrina ravaged New Orleans, as the Saints went 10-6 with Brees debuting as a starter and giving a beleaguered region something to cheer about. Thereafter, the Saints, who never finished with the record worse than 79 and Brees' tenure, rebounded from 2 playoff loss seasons to win their first and only Super Bowl in their first and only appearance. Often overshadowed by Peyton Manning and Brady in his time, Brees stood tall on that February night in Miami in 2010 as the Saints bested Manning and the Indianapolis Colts 31-17. I truly remember that game. Brees was the game's most valuable player. His 32 completions still is a game record tied with Brady. He was an exceptional 32 for 39 for 288 yards and a pair of touchdowns, including a 2-yarder to Jeremy Shockey with just less than 6 minutes left that stood as the game winner. In the season that followed, Brees and the Saints chased another Super Bowl trophy, but his career concludes without one more. He piled up stats galore along the way, leading the league in passing a record 7 times and toppling 5,000 yards in the season, a record 5 times. It added up to his league standard 8,258 passing yards. Brees exits the game as the only player in NFL lore to surpass 80,000. For a time, he was also the all-time leader in touchdown passes, vaulting past Manning, but being regular season's end. For the top 5 single-season marks and completions percentage belong to Brees, including his 74.4% showing in 2018 that stands as the most accurate season ever. Often discounted or forgotten, the Chargers were a winner with Brees as well. He was 11-4 and 9-7 in his last 2 seasons as a starter with the Bolts. Brees, 172 wins as a starter, or 4th all-time, with 142 coming as a Saint. Even the greatest have their naysayers. Brees point to him having long played inside the cozy dome confines of the Superdome, and in offense, assimilating his quick strike approach and camouflaging downfield deficiencies. However, those each point to 2 of the hallmarks of Brees' career. His height and arm made him an underdog, and he overcame all that in a glorious Hall of Fame-worthy fashion. And Brees found the perfect fit with the Saints and head coach Sean Payton, a quarterback-one-coach combo locked at the hip for history. He and Payton began their runs in New Orleans in the same 2006 season, and now what lie ahead will be the franchise's biggest storyline and most pressing need of the offseason. Jameis Winston is a free agent, and Taysom Hill's 4-game run as a starter and relief of an injured Brees this past season saw the passing game struggle, though Hill produced a 3-1 record. Upon Brees' announcement, the Saints outfit returned their focus on Winston. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reported, New Orleans ultimately came up short once more this past season. The Saints won a 4th straight NFC South title, produced a 4th consecutive season with double-digit wins, but fell short of reaching the Super Bowl yet again. Despite having been a prohibitive favorite to do so autumn after autumn, playing in the shadow of the ring collector named Brady, winning just 1 Super Bowl doesn't highlight a resume quite as it used to, or perhaps still should. But Brees' career was marked by an avalanche of impressive numbers, and that includes far more triumphs than failures. He was a standard in the NFL, often taken for granted, predictably putting up all-time numbers and making the Saints a contender, seemingly every campaign. 20 years ago, Brees made his debut in the relief of a concussed Doug Flutie. He threw the first of what will become a 571 career touchdowns and a 25-20 loss to the Chiefs. The Chargers had drafted 2 Hall of Famers, Brees and LaDainian Tomlinson, in the same year, and a dynamic duo looked to be poised for grand success. But Brees was destined for New Orleans. Short in his stature, Brees' career and his accomplishments stand tall with gigantic numbers and the transformation of a franchise from and also ran to a perennial division champion and title contender. The greatest era in Saints Chronicle, the Brees era, has concluded. The greatest Saint of them all has called it a career. So, yeah, guys, that was the big story of Drew Brees' career in a nutshell. Like, Drew Brees, is the guy that will go down in history not just any history, but in New Orleans Saints history as the greatest quarterback of all time. Now the Saints used to wear paper bags over their heads because their teams were not good back in the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s and a little bit of the 2000s. But when Breeze got there in '05 and '06, when he got there, he changed. He changed the model. He changed the culture in New Orleans to a winning culture in the Saints organization. And Coach Sean Payton knows this. That's why Sean Payton has always been hype on Drew Brees. They've always been hype. I remember the year the Saints were called out for cheating, and Sean Payton was suspended. He couldn't coach. He was the leader of his coaching duties, but he had crutches. I think he had broke his leg or punctured it. And I was real sad for them. I said, "Wow, they were known for cheating. I didn't know they had a book about that for cheating." But that same year, but they took their punishment like a team, and they didn't make the playoffs that year. But the next year they came back and they won the NFC South, and that's what you got to do. You got to take the fall for something you did. Even if you didn't do it, you got to take the fall for it, and that is something that you have to really know. And Drew Brees has played with the best of them. Alvin Kamara, LaDainian Tomlinson, Michael Thomas, Sanders, Jeremy Shockey, tight end, Roy's tight end. And he's actually had some other Mark Ingram, former the Baltimore Raven running back. Well, he's former Raven running back. He just signed with the Houston Texans. But it's pretty good that they're trying to have a winning culture. And without Drew Brees here next year, I don't know what Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill is going to do. I don't know how that quarterback situation is going to be handled. If they get a quarterback in free agency or in the draft, that would be good because I think the Saints will need something. Not saying that Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston can't handle the quarterback duties themselves, but they're going to need, another third or fourth quarterback in there to, really size out the average of quarterbacks there in New Orleans. So, hey, Drew Brees, my good friend, congratulations again on your retirement. You will be in Canton someday. I don't know if it's going to be, this fall or next fall or fall after, but you will be in Canton and you'll be enshrined in the NFL Hall of Fame record books. So congratulations, my friend. So before I go to break, I'm going to talk about, Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson, a longtime Arizona Cardinal player, longtime cornerback for the, Arizona Cardinals. And this guy has been around, but he's now leaving. And I'm going to tell you why. So Patrick Peterson is moving on to Minnesota Vikings, of course. The 10-year pro and 8-time Pro Bowler is leaving the Arizona Cardinals and signing with the Minnesota Vikings on a one-year deal worth $10 million, the same deal as Ryan Fitzpatrick's. NFL Network insider Ian Rapoport reported. A standout and mainstay in the desert for a decade, Peterson was also one of the game's top corners, as evidenced by his 8 straight Pro Bowls to begin his career, an accomplishment only Peterson has pulled off, per NFL research. He's clearly lost a step, though, as he's heading into his age 31 after turning in a 53.1 coverage grade via Pro Football Focus. That was his worst since his rookie year. Nonetheless, Peterson will look to bring some experience to the Vikings and improve a defense that struggled mightily in 2020. Other than 2019, when he was suspended for violation of the league's performance-enhancing substance policy, Peterson has started every game possible since he was selected in the 2011 NFL Draft. Thus, while his better seasons might be behind him, his dependability is still top class. Number 61 in Greg Rosenthal's top 101 free agents of 2021. Peterson's departure from the Cardinals is a hugely significant one in terms of franchise chronicle, but it's hardly unexpected. Once one of the game's elite on the outside, Peterson's looking to catch his second win with the Vikings. So, no, I'm not talking about Adrian Peterson, sports fans. I'm talking about Patrick Peterson, former cornerback from the Arizona Cardinals, former cornerback. So, in Patrick Peterson's 10-year, he was the greatest cornerback I've seen play in, with Sean Taylor, ever since Sean Taylor played. And I know Sean Taylor played safety for the Redskins, but this guy he's been unbelievable. His talent with the Cardinals and the years he spent with Arizona And I'm pretty sure Arizona is pretty upset that he is gone to a team. But, the old Peterson, Adrian Peterson, the running back, maybe, he's a free agent. Could Adrian Peterson possibly come back to Minnesota? I don't think so. I don't think Minnesota is in the cause for Adrian Peterson anymore. I could be wrong, but I know his last tenure there it didn't end so well. But with Patrick Peterson now moving to Minnesota, he's going to have the likes of, Kirk Cousins and all those guys that is going to be Dalvin Cook, great running back. He ran all over the defense last year. And I believe the Vikings would have been a playoff team last year too. They were actually in the playoff hunt up until the last two games of the season, and then they just went downhill, losing to the Saints and then losing to the Packers at the end of the season, and they just they got blown out in that Christmas Day game, guys. Remember, the Vikings got destroyed by Alvin Kamara and the return of Michael Thomas. They just got destroyed in that secondary. Dalvin Cook had nowhere to go, and that defense could not do it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a quick break, and when I get back, I want to talk more about NFL free agency and what you need to know about your favorite teams that are going elsewhere. So you will listen to Sports Talk Live here on E-Radio WMCR, the famous home of radio history as well. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Talk Live here on the famous E-Radio WMCR. Now, We have returned, and now I want to talk about another Washington football signee, but this time it's a cornerback. And yes, he came from the AFC. So let's get to it. So one of free agency's top cornerbacks is bound for Washington. Former Cincinnati Bengals cornerback William Jackson III is signing with the Washington football team on a 3-year, $40.5 million deal worth $26 million guaranteed. Jackson gets $16 million guaranteed fully at signing and can make up to $42 million total. The 28-year-old Jackson is a former first-round pick who garnered the number 25 spot and Greg Rosenthal's top 101 free agents of 2021. It is hauling in a payday to match his lofty status among free agent cornerbacks. Jackson heads to a Washington team already rife with first-round talent, particularly in the pass rush on defense, and should fit in nicely. In his final season in Cincy, Jackson tallied 11 passes defended and 45 tackles. He'll move on from the Bengals into a more high-profile slot for Washington and the NFC East. Washington's banking on improving an already excellent defense with an addition of one of the best corners available in this year's very thin, free agent class. So why am I talking about William Jackson? Well, William Jackson, he played with Joe Burrow last year with the Bengals. And, people are calling him the best cornerback that the Bengals have ever had. People are calling him the best cornerback in NFL history ever since Sean Taylor played. But you have to remember, there's other great cornerbacks better than William Jackson. I just mentioned one to you not too long ago. Patrick Peterson, former Arizona Cardinal cornerback. Now he's with his new team since 2011, and that's the Minnesota Vikings. So if you think about it, he's part of the 101 free agents of 2021. So you think about how good he's played. And he played, I think, about 3 years with the Bengals. He was drafted in 17, 18. So he's played for a while. So Washington is not only getting a deeper cornerback, but they're getting him on a 3-year, $40.5 million deal. So that's all fair, all well and good. So, hey, Washington is doing pretty well in free agency, in the free agency department. I think they're doing pretty well, amongst most teams in the NFL. But we still have to make that connection to other teams as well and get other teams going. So we'll see what happens with this signee, man. I mean, William Jackson, he's pretty good. I mean, I went to school with William Jackson actually, and he was no football player, but this William Jackson, I think, is going to be better for Washington. So we'll just see how all of this plays out for him. So moving on. So in their quest for back-to-back Super Bowl championships and to keep their title-winning squad together, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are carrying through with their plans on offense, defense, and now special teams. Tampa Bay is re-signing kicker Ryan Succop to a 3-year deal worth $12 million with $6.25 million guaranteed. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reported Wednesday. Succop will garner $8.25 million over the first 2 years. In the Buccaneers Super Bowl triumph over the Chiefs, Succop was perfect with 4 extra points and as many attempts and a field goal. He culminated a sensational season in which he went 28 of 31 on field goals with an exceptional postseason run in which he was 13 for 13 on 3-pointers on 21 for 22 on extra points. Succop now follows behind the Bucs' mirrored moves and retaining their championship squad, which has seen Tom Brady sign an extension, Chris Godwin get franchise tag, Shaquille Barrett sign a new deal, and Rob Gronkowski re-sign. Having been a crucial but perhaps overlooked addition for the Bucs ahead of their Super Bowl run, Succop, who is 34, is returning to help run it back. I don't actually think the Buccaneers are going to run it back, people. I mean, really. The Buccaneers running it back, going back to another Super Bowl next year, Tom Brady winning his 8th ring. Is that even possible? I mean, I hear the guys trying to get 10 on each finger. One surprised me is the guy trying to get 10 on each toes, too. Listen, this is Tom Brady we're talking about, people. Tom Brady could play until he's 50 or 60 years old. He doesn't really care how old this guy is. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Tom Brady is good. But this guy, get 10 rings on each finger, and you want to get 10 on each toe rings. That's crazy, man. Hey, but this is Tom Brady, people. Come on. Tom Brady's been playing since, 1999, 1997, 1998. I mean, this guy's been playing in the league for a long, long time. I mean, he's basically old man now. He's old man Brady. And old man Brady is still getting it done. I'm just saying. I mean, it's good that they want to keep the team intact, like Godwin, Gronkowski, Mike Evans, Ryan Suckup, Shaquille Barrett, Leonard Fournette. But at some point, you got to be realistic. You're realistic and say, can Tom Brady really do it? Can he really get 10 on each finger? I mean, he signed a 2-year contract, so 01, 22, he might just be going for 9, maybe. I mean, 8 is pretty realistic, but if he wants to get 9, let him get 9. You know, let him get his 10 on each finger. But remember, there's other teams next year that's going to be haunting for you guys, Tom. Just remember that. So, moving on. So, Kyle Long's return to the NFL is coming with a significant player. The reigning AFC champions. Long is signing with the Kansas City Chiefs. NFL Network's James Palmer reported for a source informed of the situation. Long's arrival is essentially the Chiefs taking a flyer on a once premier Chicago Bears guard who called it quits due to lingering health issues following the 2019 season. Now fully healthy and ready to get back on the field, Long, number 84 in Greg Rosenthal's top 101 free agents of 2021, is latching on with Kansas City, but he should be expected to start opposite another significant name, the recently signed Joe Thuney, who center Austin Reeder expected to re-sign elsewhere for more money than the Chiefs can afford. And Kansas City having released both starting tackles, the club still has a few questions to answer up front. But after navigating a season in which the Chiefs had to deal with injuries all over their offensive line, Kansas City has taken an additional step to show up the group with immediate answers. So Kyle Long had to come on retirement because of a significant injury that he suffered. I mean, the guy's back now, the former Chicago Bear. He's back. He's back in action. Son of Howie Long, by the way, who's commentating on NFL football, who Howie Long does a fantabulous job, by the way, in commentating. And Howie Long is still commentating with Michael Strahan, Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Menefee, and my buddy, Terry Bradshaw, former Steelers quarterback from the 70s. So he's doing some good things. And now with his son Kyle Long coming back into the NFL spotlight, he will be even doing better things besides coming to his son's games in Kansas City and having him sign with the AFC champions, the Chiefs, who have been AFC champions in 2 or 3 years maybe. But can he stay healthy? That is the question. That is the question of every sports fan's mind. Can Kyle Allen stay healthy for a season? And will he not be expected to sit out the season if, in fact, his health problems do reoccur on him? Only time will tell, but we'll find out on some later episodes for Sports Talk Live down the road, and I'm sure I'll have the answer for you all. So, moving on. So, underrated running back Marlon Mack will return to Indianapolis for another season. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reported that the running back is re-signing with the Colts on a 1-year contract worth $2 million per a source informed of the situation. Mack, number 78 on Greg Rosenthal's top 101 free agents at the time of the deal, began the 2020 season as the Colts' starting running back, but lasted just 11 snaps before tearing his Achilles tendon. He earned 4 carries for 26 yards, 6.5 per attempt, and caught all 3 of his targets for 30 yards. 7 touchdowns and 11 snaps underscored the planned workload for Mack early last year. The torn Achilles came at a brutal time for the dynamic dual threat and a contract year. The hope is the 25-year-old can recapture his explosiveness and hit the open market again next year. With Jonathan Taylor clearly taking over the number 1 role in Indy, Mack won't have the type of workload he was in line for last season. Still expect Frank Wright to find a way to get Mack touches each game. It wasn't long ago that Jim Irsay was touting Mack as a potential 1,500-yard back. The upside talent is still there, even if the Achilles saps some of his explosiveness. So, Marlon Mack, great job, buddy. You're coming back to Indianapolis. You're going to do your thing again with the Colts. Hopefully, you've been fully healthy and you can come back and be the shades of your 2020, early 2019 self. And you got a new quarterback. You got Carson Wentz. So Philip Rivers is no longer with you guys, but you got Carson Wentz. You got another guy, another great quarterback when Carson Wentz can stay healthy, of course, that is. If Carson Wentz can stay healthy for the Colts will have a good team. Now, Jacoby Brissett, I'm not particularly sure if he's going to re-sign or not. I hear that he's a free agent as well, Jacoby Brissett. But you gotta be realistic here. Carson Wentz is injury prone. And for a Colts team to get Carson Wentz and sign him to maybe a 1-year deal possibly or a 2-year, 3-year, I don't know how many years they signed him for. But Frank Reich wanted to reunite with Carson Wentz. Frank Reich was the offensive coordinator in Philly, and he helped Carson Wentz when he was there. So he wanted to bring in Carson Wentz as his quarterback now that he's actually head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. I can kind of see the correlation and all that. I can kind of see the history that these two have had. I can see why Frank Reich wanted to hire Carson Wentz as the quarterback. Let's be realistic, people. Carson Wentz has never had a true healthy year. I think his first year was the only year he stayed healthy. In all the other years, he's been in 17, 18, 19, and 2020. He has not played. He hasn't been healthy. He couldn't stay healthy. Carson Wentz played in like 3, 4, 5 games last year before he went down with an injury. So, I mean, you can't trust the guy. You cannot trust Carson Wentz to stay healthy or give you a healthy season or even give you one healthy season. For that to happen, he's going to have to be protected. And Indianapolis made the playoffs last year. The Colts are a good protective team that can protect a quarterback, but you got to do it for 17 games. You can't just do it for 10 games and say, oh, forget it. We're 9-5. We're down to we're 8-0. We're 7-0. No, you got to do it for the whole 17 weeks of the season. If you want to make the playoffs, you can't just do it in weeks 1 through 10. You got to do it in weeks 1 through 17. So, moving on. So, AJ Green. Wow, long time Cincinnati Bengals. AJ Green. What can I say about my man AJ Green? Well, I can say this. AJ Green arrived in Cincinnati like a lion or a Bengal, if you prefer, and went out like a lamb. But he's not yet done lacing them up. Green is headed to the desert, agreeing to a 1-year, $8 million deal with the Arizona Cardinals. Oh, it seems like everybody is going to the Cardinals these days. NFL Network insider Amar Report reported the contract includes a base salary of $6 million. NFL Network's Mike Garafolo reported, with incentives available to push the total to its maximum value. The team later announced the signing. Green's agreement was the beginning of an exciting Wednesday for the Cardinals, who are also set to address a huge need on the interior of the offensive line as they are finalizing the acquisition of center Rodney Hudson from the Las Vegas Raiders. In a trade that was in, Arizona also received a 7th-round pick and sent a 3rd-round selection to the Raiders. Garafolo and NFL Network insider Aaron Rappaport reported. Green moves west after losing his time in Cincinnati in quite fashion, catching just 47 of his 104 targets for 253 yards and 2 touchdowns in 2020. His 11.1 yards per catch, 2.9 receptions per game, and 2 receiving touchdowns were the lowest of his career. And it became clear as the season progressed that the future at the position will be with rookie T. Higgins as the Bengals' top target, not Green. The 7-time Pro Bowler will join the Cardinals team that is loading up for a run at the playoffs after riding down the stretch. He'll add to a receiving corps that also includes DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, Andy Isabella, and consider return of Larry Fitzgerald, provided he decides he wants to continue his Hall of Fame career. While Green is clearly on the back nine of his own NFL career and has declined in multiple key metrics in the last 2 years, he did not play in 19. Resurgence in Arizona is possibly in an offense powered by quarterback Mr. Kyler Murray and directed by pass-friendly coach Cliff Kingsbury. He'll at least provide some insurance for a potential departure of Fitzgerald, even if Green isn't the type to replace Fitzgerald in the slot. With the veteran moved in recent years, and if Fitzgerald ends up returning, the Cardinals will trot out a group that could include as many as 3 pass catchers who could one day end up in Canton, Ohio. So, geez, AJ Green, seems like everybody wants to go to Arizona. It's like AJ Green, JJ Watt, Patrick Peterson just came from Arizona. But geez, you got AJ Green, you got JJ Watt, you got geez, man. Come on, man. You got everybody wants to go to Arizona. Everybody wants to compete for a championship in Arizona. Guess what though? The Cardinals got DeAndre Hopkins last year and they couldn't do nothing. The Cardinals were in that 8th and final playoff spot in the NFC and they couldn't get it done. They could not get it done. What makes you think AJ Green comes in and helps that offense, huh? AJ Green is injury prone, people. Injury prone. And if you're an Arizona Cardinal fan, I feel sorry because you know what? This isn't the way the team operates. Here's what the Cardinals do. They go out and they get a receiver who they think can come in and bring excellence to a team. You can't just get one receiver, man, because this receiver, AJ Green, is injury prone. DeAndre Hopkins was not injury prone. JJ Watt is injury prone. JJ Watt just had one of his best games this year. One of his best injury seasons in like the past, 4 or 5 years? Come on. Think about the decisions the NFL teams are making this off season. And I know teams want to get better. I'm not knocking on them for that. But NFL teams, NFL presidents, NFL owners are not looking at the divergence of how these players have been injury prone for the first 4 or 5 years of their career. Case in point, I just mentioned him early in the show. Carson Wentz, injury prone. And you think he's going to come in and fix the issues in Indianapolis? No. Anything, he's going to make him worse. He's going to make it worse. I'm just saying it, man. He's going to make it worse because Carson Wentz has not had a healthy year since, like I said, since he was a rookie, since he first came in. And that is the truth, man. That is the truth. Come on. You got to be realistic here. Teams have got to be realistic. Yeah. I mean, teams got to be realistic. Teams have got to be realistic. It's probably one of the best things you can do as a team is be realistic on the players you're trying to bring in to help solidify a team that hasn't been to the playoffs in 4 or 5 years. I mean, come on, the Cardinals have history of being I mean, it's not. I mean, I'm not knocking on the owners or the presidents of these teams. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's just realistic. You got to be realistic. Realisticity is how you're going to get teams to not get these players that have been injury prone for their whole career. And AJ Green is one of them. AJ Green is an injury prone guy. He is an injury prone player. That's all I got to say about it. Now, speaking of injury prone players, our next story comes from our own famous former Washington Redskin player, Ed Trent Williams. Let's listen to his story, are we? So the San Francisco 49ers has broken the bank in order to retain the top free agent available. Trent Williams has agreed to terms on a 6-year, $138.6 million deal to stay with the 49ers. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reported Wednesday morning. The contract includes $55.1 million in fully guaranteed money and a $30.1 million signing bonus, per Williams' agent. The deal makes Williams the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history. Williams has always maintained his preference to staying in San Francisco. The 32-year-old was acquired by the 49ers last offseason in a trade the perennial Pro Bowl left tackle sought out, which ultimately ended in a 9-year tenure in Washington that turned sour and culminated in a year-long holdout. Despite missing the entire 2019 season, Williams seamlessly returned to form in 2020 and proved a reliable blindside blocker on the 49ers offensive line in the wake of Joe Staley's retirement. Williams was elected to his 8th Pro Bowl in his first season with the 49ers, and his overall grade of 91.9 from Pro Football Focus ranked first at his position in 2020. His road to a massive contract had plenty of bumps along the way and required a lot of patience. But Williams can now set any worries aside as he settles into his home in San Francisco and aims to help get the 49ers back into contention for years to come. Wow, Mr. Trent Williams, hey, I'm happy for you, bro. I'm happy for you. Sports fans, this is another guy. Can't stay healthy. Cannot stay healthy. Can't. He just can't stay healthy. I mean, he was healthy for the San Francisco 49ers last year when he first came. But this is another guy who can't stay healthy. Like if he goes down, he's not going to play anymore. He's actually going to be out for the season. This is another guy. This is what I'm saying. You want to re-sign these dudes, but look, they're injury prone, man. They cannot stay healthy for a year. Now, Trent Williams is. I know Trent Williams can stay healthy, but he misses some games. He misses action. You don't really get the logistics of someone staying healthy if they can't help you win or get closer to a championship game. If they're just not on the same page, if they're just injured all the time. So it's my wish, and I truly hope that Trent Williams can stay healthy again like he did last year with the 49ers. But look, it ain't happening. It ain't happening, sports fans. It just ain't happening. It's just not in the cards for this guy to stay healthy for a whole year. It's just not in the cards. And that's okay. That's okay. This guy's been playing for years and years. And I know Trent Williams is not old, but the guy plays like he's like 38 years old. The guy acts like he plays like that. And I'm not knocking on Trent Williams. I know. All I'm saying is he went out of Washington. Most players do. Case in point, Ryan Kerrigan today just paid a visit to the Cincinnati Bengals. Ryan Kerrigan, if you're sitting at home right now, buddy, and you're thinking about signing with the Bengals, a team that had a first-round quarterback go down, and Joe Burrow, he went down in the Washington game, in the Washington football team game last November. Okay, and you don't know, he might come back as the same Joe Burrow that everyone was blazing about from LSU, or he might come back and he might get slowed down. But here's the thing with quarterbacks when they suffer these season-ending knee injuries. They don't come back as the same people that they were before they went down. You would think that they could come back the same people that they were before they came down. Case in point, look at Alex Smith. 18 knee surgeries. He could have died, lost his life. Thank God he didn't. His family, kids, friends, all at his bedside, praying that he could come back to full form. He did not come back to full form. And when you have a leg injury like that, you cannot come back to full form. You cannot come back to where you used to be with when you used to run and slide. You can't do that. All you could do is hope and pray that it doesn't happen to you again and ruin your career like it did Joe Theismann. We have to be realistic, people, with these quarterbacks and with these running backs. Because if you're not being realistic on the defensive side of the ball, and you can only be realistic on the offensive side of the ball, you got to be realistic on the defensive side of the ball. And this is what I'm saying. You got to be realistic with these quarterbacks, especially the three I just named. So congratulations, Trent Williams, on your $6 million deal, man. 6-year deal, but I don't think it's going to happen. So another player who I really think will come back is running back Jamal Williams is leaving the Green Bay Packers, but not in the NFC North. Williams is signing a 2-year deal with the Detroit Lions, worth up to $7.5 million. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reported Tuesday night. A 2017 fourth-round pick of the Packers, Williams is moving to Motown after rushing for 505 yards and hauling in 236 receiving yards in 2020 for Green Bay. A do-it-all back who could take the lead if needed. Williams adds to a crowded Lions backfield that currently houses DeAndre Swift and Kerryon Johnson. A familiar face is joining Detroit under first-year head coach Dan Campbell's region. So I don't know much about Jamal Williams, but I know Jamal Williams is a steady running back, and I think Detroit will use him as they see fit. DeAndre Swift, another great running back, Kerryon Johnson. I don't know too much about him, but I know that all these three guys I just named are pretty good running backs, and I think they will make Detroit's running game pretty good next year with Jared Goff coming in as being the quarterback. So congratulations, Jamal Williams, on your new deal. So, Bills Mafia, Buffalo Bills, Bills Mafia. Say hello to your newest member. The Buffalo Bills have agreed to terms on a one-year deal with veteran wideout Emmanuel Sanders. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reported Tuesday for an informed source. Dan Feet of 13 WHAM ABC first reported the Bills' strong interest in Sanders. Although the Saints announced Tuesday afternoon that his contract has been terminated, Sanders has not yet been officially released. That's expected to happen sometime after 4 p.m. on Wednesday for cap reasons. Pelissero noted, once official, Sanders is slated to fly to Buffalo on Thursday to take a physical and finalize the deal. He added, the news of Sanders' release was initially reported on March 10th. Joining Buffalo's exciting offense is yet another ideal free agency decision for Sanders, who turns 34 on Wednesday. He inked a 2-year deal with the Saints last offseason and went on to contribute 61 receptions for 726 yards and 5 touchdowns. After spending multiple seasons with the Steelers and Broncos during his first 10 years in the NFL, Sanders has been somewhat of a hired hand the last 2 years. Denver traded him to the 49ers midway through the 2019 season, blistering San Francisco's wide receiver corps en route to a Super Bowl run. Currently number 89 on Greg Rosenthal's top 101 free agents, Sanders has benefited from playing with a slew of reputable quarterbacks throughout his career. Catching passes from Josh Allen should certainly continue that tradition. Not to mention adding a Super Bowl champion and 2-time Pro Bowler to a room that includes all-world receivers Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, and Gabriel Davis could prove quite beneficial, especially come playoff time. Mr. Emmanuel Sanders, congratulations on your new deal, buddy. You're still one of my all-time favorite wide receivers because I loved you with the Saints last year. You were incredible filling in for Michael Thomas as well. You did, and now you're on your new team. You're on your third, fourth team, and you know you had a Super Bowl appearance last year. You won your division with the San Francisco 49ers, and now you're on your way to Bills Mafia. And the Buffalo Bills are a good team, so you'll like to play with Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, and Gabriel Davis. Oh yeah, that Bills team. Listen, guys, that Bills team is going to be good for years to come, especially if they still have Stephon Diggs and Emmanuel Sanders that are still playing on the team. They're going to be good. And Cole Beasley is awesome, man. That wide receiver corps in Buffalo is nothing short of spectacular. I mean, I gotta give them their props, their credit. So congratulations, Emmanuel. So another receiver who might be showing up and who might be staying around is T.Y. Hilton. So T.Y. Hilton's team, the only one he's known in his NFL career, has the second most cap space in the league. After waiting out the free agent market, they're spending some of that space to keep Hilton in town. Hilton is returning to the Indianapolis Colts on a 1-year, $10 million deal. Wow, all these players signing $10 million deals. NFL Network insider A.R. Report reported Wednesday, per Hilton's agents, the Cats Bros. He is expected to earn $8 million in guaranteed salary. Hilton's departure felt possible but not inevitable, largely because the Colts were working with such an excess of cap space unseen with most teams in the current financial landscape. With quarterback already answered by the Carson Wentz trade, the Colts still had a few other areas to address, with receiver being among the highest priorities. Hilton has made clear he'd like to continue his Colts career, and after a peculiar free agent market unfolded at the receiver position, he was there for the taking, even if he never technically left. Hilton's resurgence in 2020 proved this isn't just some honorary signing of a fan favorite either. After battling through injuries in recent seasons, Hilton was available for all but one game, catching 56 passes for 762 yards and 5 touchdowns, helping the Colts finish 11-5. The Colts will fill in a starting receiver spot with the player they know ultimately who has been one of the leading faces of the franchise's success in the last decade and who will likely end up in the franchise's Ring of Honor. After 5 seasons of 1,000-plus yards, 4 Pro Bowl selections, and 4 playoff victories, Hilton has earned that accolade, and he'll be back for more in the same uniform he's worn for his entire career. That's right, T.Y. Hilton, he's been with the Colts for his entire career. He was drafted in, I think it was in 2012, 2011. He's been with this Colts team for a long time, and this is 2021. This is the next decade. So, wow, T.Y. Hilton, man, hey, he's still one of my favorite wide receivers in the Colts. I love T.Y. I mean, you've seen some receivers go from the Colts organization. Marvin Jones, a great player. Reggie Wayne, great receiver from the Colts. Other people come from the Colts. Some great running backs. Edgerrin James, great running backs. Bob Sanders, great safety. So we've seen some great players come from the Colts. Peyton Manning, of course, came from Indianapolis. So we've seen some really great play. Adam Vinatieri, former field goal kicker for the Colts. And he's still a field goal kicker for the Colts. Adam Vinatieri here. So, I mean, old man Vinatieri, still kicking it with the Colts. So, T.Y., man, I wish you all the best in your new career, man. Hey, watch out for Carson, man. He's injury prone. I'm just kidding. All right. So next up is former Chiefs Damien Williams. So he's going to a new team. So the Bears, Damien Williams agreed to a 1-year contract with Damien Williams. He has found a new home with a familiar face. The running back and hero of Super Bowl has agreed to terms on a 1-year deal with the Chicago Bears. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reported. Williams spent the 2020 season away from football, choosing to opt out because of COVID-19 concerns related to his mother's stage 4 cancer. He was released by the Chiefs earlier this month, freeing him to explore opportunities elsewhere. He's found that in Chicago, where he'll play under head coach Matt Nagy, a branch on Chiefs coach Andy Reid's coaching tree that runs an offense that is very similar to the one Williams found success in 2018 through 19 with the Chiefs. Williams also has a history with Bears offensive coordinator Bill Lazor, who served as Williams' OC in his first 2 professional seasons spent with the Miami Dolphins, 14-15. Williams has gained 1,271 rushing yards and scored 12 times in 85 career games, and he's only seen over 100 carries in a season. Once his most recent campaign of 19. But when the lights only seen over 100 carries in the season, was his most recent campaign of 19. But when the lights shine brightest, Williams capitalized, rushing 17 times for 104 yards and a touchdown, and catching a key touchdown pass late in Kansas City's frantic comeback effort in Super Bowl 52. We'll see if he can bring that type of primetime play to the Bears, who could use another quality option in their backfield. So, Damien Williams, I don't know too much about the guy, but I think he's going to fit in nicely with the Chicago Bears. I think he'll be a perfect fit for a team that's really trying to get out there with their season and who's really trying to have another perfect season for the Bears. A Bears team that, went 7-0 last year and they got trounced by the Saints in the first round. So, for a Bears team that's really trying to rebound with the loss with the Mitchell Trubisky. The Bears just lost Mitchell Trubisky. And they're going to be looking for some players to re-sign and redig themselves into another big contract extension. So with the Chiefs losing Damien Williams, they still have Le'Veon Bell and some other running backs they can use on their running game next year. So it'll be interesting to see how this all will plan out here for the Bears and the Chiefs down the road. Now, I've got another quarterback story for you all, and this is I don't really know what to say about this Jacksonville Jaguars team. because I know they're going to get Trevor Lawrence in the draft. But it's kind of funny how this Jacksonville Jaguars team operates. Let me tell you what they just did. So the Jacksonville Jaguars added depth to their quarterback room. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reported the Jags are expected to sign former San Francisco 49ers quarterback C.J. Beathard for a source informed of the situation. He's set to receive a 2-year, $5 million deal plus incentives. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reported for a source. The team announced the move Wednesday. The former third-round pick spent 4 years with the Niners, primarily as a backup, splitting time with reserve signal caller Nick Mullins under Kyle Shanahan. Beathard started 12 games during his career with San Francisco, completing 58.6% of his passes for 3,469 yards, 18 touchdowns to 13 interceptions, and averaging 7.0 yards per attempt. A tough quarterback, Beathard is capable of running an offense, getting into the right play, and running a chain-moving offense. While he doesn't boast high-octane attributes, his intelligence, mobility, and starting experience give him an edge if called upon in a pinch. With the Jags expected to draft Trevor Lawrence as the number 1 overall pick, Beathard owns the experience to contribute to the quarterback room, but not threaten a rookie who might go through ups and downs. Adding Beathard could signal a trade of Gardner Minshew is coming down the pike. Coach Urban Meyer said, last week the club hadn't engaged in trade talks for the former Jags starter, but shipping out the mustached man who jump-started a mania makes sense in the grand scheme. So, yeah, I mean, Gardner Minshew is going to have some backup competition. And also Trevor Lawrence. I mean, the number 1 pick, when they get Trevor Lawrence, Gardner Minshew, Gardner Minshew is still – for right now, Gardner Minshew is still a Jacksonville Jaguar. I don't know what they're going to do with him. For right now, Gardner Minshew is still a Jacksonville Jaguar. And he'll be a Jacksonville Jaguar for, even if they get Trevor Lawrence. He might just stick stick around. We don't know what's going to happen of Gardner Minshew or, C.J. Beathard when Trevor Lawrence gets there. All I know is the Jaguars really need some quarterback room, and I think Trevor Lawrence is going to make this team, if not good, probably compete for a playoff spot next year. So, yeah. And, ladies and gentlemen, that is my show for today. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up on my Facebook. I will be posting this to Facebook, Spreaker, SoundCloud. So when you get it, hey, just like my show, like them. I always appreciate your guys' feedback on my shows each week. I really appreciate you guys following me and doing everything you can to support me while I'm still doing my sports radio show. And I appreciate all the feedback, all the love you guys give me on my show. Each and every week I do this, and I post on Facebook, Spreaker, SoundCloud. I appreciate the love. I really do. I really do love you fans out there in the sports world who listen to me every day. Shout out to you all. You all make this show what it is, and you all make this show better for me, and I really appreciate that. But join me Friday. I'll have 2 guests on my show. I'll have two guests. I have Shelby Yanni, and I'll have another guest who is just starting her podcast out. So don't forget to join me on Friday. Same time, same place, same Zoom. And you guys have a great, fantastic day, and I'll see you on Friday. Peace.